we'll continue with the stats deep dive that we've just kicked off. Mate, the first guy you want to talk about is Reece Walsh. He's caught my attention. If he didn't have that bye coming up in a few weeks, I think I would be going Gutho to Reece Walsh very soon.
Yeah, so the draw is quite concerning. Roosters, Cowboys, Eels, bye, Raiders and Storm. Really difficult. He's very cheap at $666K. I went back and had a bit of a look at his form against top 8 sides this season, the current top 8. It's okay. So he went big last weekend, the Bunnies, 111, technically coming 9th now. Go back through his scores. Round 14, Cronulla, 65. Round 12, Penrith, 42. Round 11, Storm, 67. Round 9, Rabbitohs, 23. Round 8, Eels, 38. Round 6, Raiders, 86. You add in here, and this inflates it a little bit, but the Cowboys in round 2, he scored 105, and that was when the Cowboys were in absolute all sorts and one of the worst sides in the competition. So against top 8 sides this season, he's averaging current top 8 sides averaging 67 points per game. If you take out the Cowboys game in round 2, maybe a little bit unfair on him, but he's averaging 61 per game. Now they're playing all top 8 sides on the run home, plus the bye. I do think, and we chatted about this on the Playbook potty last night, he's also grown an arm and a leg with every single game he's played this season. Like, his confidence is up, the Broncos are firing, he's getting better. So it doesn't mean that he can't... Like, I would back him to average more than 67 on the run home, but the stats aren't terrific. What do you think?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. As long as he isn't playing Penrith,
yeah,
I'm not overly concerned. I agree with you that run home isn't ideal, but the Roosters don't worry me. Parramatta don't overly worry me, to be honest with you. Your Raiders are probably a slightly tough one because they just always find a way to fucking hang in the contest.
They're a weird one, the Raiders.
Melbourne don't worry me in the slightest.
Someone was asking me about
the thing that worries me about Melbourne is will he play in round 27 or not, or do they just rest their guys?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. The Raiders
are at Suncorp.
Yeah.
They'll have a game at Suncorp the week after anyway. That's my worry with him.
Yeah.
But is he young enough and he's just had a 3-week spell? I don't
know. 3-week spell's huge, isn't it? Yeah, look, I think he's absolutely a great trade-in option. I just think when you wedge the buy in between that tough draw, I think I'm going to, well, I don't think I am, I'm going to target fullbacks with better draws. Especially you get to this time of year, teams really start to drop off. We're already seeing it. The Dragons, I know they won on the weekend, but Dragons, Tigers, Doggies, there's going to be blowout games, and some of these players with the softer draws can go big.
Yeah.
Like a player like, say, Latrell, even a Teddy in softer games could go there 150 plus. Is Walsh going to do that against these sides? I'd be surprised. There's no reason why he can't average 85 to 90 on the run home, but yeah, I'm chasing the draw.
That is one thing. The more I look at it, mate, the more I look at that buy in round 25 and round 27 if he gets rested. In the last 3 weeks, he could play one game.
Yeah. I do think, said buy around 25. He's already missed 3 weeks on the trot. Because of that buy there, he probably plays the last 2 weeks. Time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, like, even for injury-wise, but just would it shock if Reece Walsh went out and did something? Or, you know, he can get himself into trouble as well. I don't know. I'd be tempted if I
was. Yeah, mate, I'm the biggest advocate of resting ever, so I would, but we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. But something that you need to keep in mind with all your trades, think about where that team's going to be sitting at the end of the season. It doesn't mean that they're definitely going to rest, but there's guys that have potential to be rested in certain teams. And you need to
look at your team and your Eels players. If you are someone who's going to stuff it, I'm going to stick with Gutho. He's killing it. It doesn't matter who the opposition is. If you were to be running, say, a Walsh and him combination, then Walsh got rested, you wouldn't have a fullback round 27. So just got to consider these things.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, mate, James Tedesco, he's one that I'm very confident plays every game from here on out. Tell us about Teddy.
6-game average, 93 points.
Stop it.
This is an out of form, in a tough patch, James Tedesco in a Rooster side that may or may not have turned a corner. Whether they've turned a corner, I'm not sure, but that first half of footy against the Titans got to give them a bit of a shot, an injection of belief in them, doesn't it? So, you know, everyone's talking about Latrell, Walsh, Drinky, all these gun fullbacks, KP, Teddy, who's been there, done it year after year. He's on fire.
Yeah, I will be serious. I'm thinking, I'll talk about my trades in a moment, but I've got Clint Gutherson, who I think I'll hold him for this week. He plays the Dragons next week, a nice matchup. I will be seriously considering after that going Gutho to Teddy to free up cash to get like a Tino or someone as well. So
such a great position fullback this year because there are 5 or 6 different players. You throw sort of Dylan Edwards into the mix who can go their 150 plus on their day. You can only have 2 of them, 3 to pinch if you got KP at 5'8".
Yeah.
It is the position that I believe will decide the overall winner and head-to-head grand final winners.
Yeah, for sure. You look at Teddy in 2 weeks' time when I'm planning on trading him in. He'll go Dolphins, Parramatta, Tigers, and he'll finish with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I don't care how the Roosters are going. I think they will get up for that game.
Yeah.
They'll perform. Hey, Matty, where's your game in the last round? Where is that?
The last round of the season against Roosters?
Yeah.
A core.
A core, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sweet. I like that. I like the Teddy play. All right, mate. Suaalii. Geez, we've had some arguments about Suaalii over the years. Let's open another one. Shoot.
Just a lot of people asking about him.
Yeah.
I mean, back to the wing, his best position, looks good and kills it. The one that stood out for me, look, I'm not advocating for him as a rush in by, but you just mentioned the Roosters draw. Back to the wing, I think the last 2 weeks, 85 points against the Titans, but his base was 38 points. Whereas all season it's been terrible, just takes on the lot, has a stack more runs, will finish off tries, so much better. If you're looking for a pod for the run home at 486k goal kicking for the Roosters, is a way of freeing up cash and he's very playable in 17s. Not for me, but I can see why people would do it.
Yeah, fair shout. Tyrone Peachy, mate.
The Peach. Oh, bless the Peach. 7 80-minute games this season, 69 point per game average. And that's I said it last night on the potty, and I've said it time and time again, but it's not necessarily a reflection of a player what their average is for the season, this or that, particularly for your team. It's how did they score when they were in your team.
Yep.
So a week like a few weeks ago where he came off the bench, played a handful of minutes and drops his season average. No one played him who owned him that week. But of his 80-minute games, I reckon I've played him most from this season. So he's averaging around that 69 points for me this season, got me through a tough bye period. The one thing about him this week, I will say, which concerns me a little bit, is that Penrith are going up against the Sharkies who have that horrific left edge. Not Peachy's edge. He'll be on Penrith's left, so it bodes super well for Nathan Cleary, Stephen Crichton, Brian To'o, that whole edge. Do they just go there all game and tear him to pieces? It could easily happen.
Potentially, but I just think with Peach, if he's just given 3 opportunities, you know he's not going to pass the football.
Yeah.
He'll turn one of them into something, I reckon.
Yeah.
So I was very nervous watching the other day. I'll tell you what, based on how the first 10 minutes of that game went, I think he finished on 77. I think,
Yeah, 78, I think.
78. I was stoked.
Every time you send shit out on social media about me going good, and you often do it at half time or something, it just turns it. The Supercoach goes, oh, let's look after Guru. You did that, and I don't think he or Toto put a point on in the second half for me.
Matty, has he tuned this violin or what?
It's got to work out the violin the last month.
Okay, speaking of the Panthers left edge, I love this shout. I absolutely love it. And there's a few people in the questions that were looking at him as a pod. Scotty Sorensen, your mate, flying.
Frustrating Scotty Sorensen because love the bloke, as you know. But there's just been job security. When I say job security issues, 80-minute back row, week in, week out issues every week. He's always going to be in the team, but the chat's been, because they've got so much back row depth, it's been, does he go, like Liam Martin, Zach Hosking, Luke Garner to a lesser degree now, obviously, does he go back to a 50-minute bench player sort of thing, in which case crueling his Supercoach cancels? It hasn't happened. He's kept that 80-minute role. In 13 games this season, playing 59-plus minutes, he's averaging 72 points per game.
Wow.
It's inflated by a 175, but the other thing about that 175 is it shows that he has huge upside in this team.
He scored 2 tries on arguably the best edge in rugby league. It's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So, like, the point is that I think even there's still concerns because he's played 80 minutes for so long in these big minute games and got them through when other players have had rest and whatnot. Does he get some fewer minutes and some early showers in the back end of the season? Potentially, but based on that, even if he only plays 60 minutes and goes off 20 minutes early or whatever, he's still scoring well enough.
I think it was, and if you have a look at the last 2 years and they won the comp, they've limited Liam Martin's minutes heading into finals and then given him 80 minutes come game time. They did the same thing on the weekend as well. They took Liam Martin off early. Luke Garner jumped on that edge. He hasn't done it with Sorensen all that much. I think he's played less than 80 minutes twice in the last 8 weeks, and they've had 2 byes in that period. I wouldn't be surprised if towards the back end, if he does start to get a little bit of a spell.
I agree. And that's the thing we've said all season with him. There's just always, what about spells and changing roles? And it just hasn't happened. But my gut feels the same, is that it's like since round 4, he's played every game.
Yeah.
And even since round 8, he's played 59 plus minutes in all of those, generally close to 80 minutes. So he looks a prime candidate for a rest at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't do it for that reason. But so we keep saying it all year, and he's killing it.
And I mean, they have all, like they've got Hosking, they've got Garner, they've got Salmon. Like, you could play Peach there if you want to. They've got so many options that they could run with there. So, yeah, But in saying that, mate, if we get to the end of the season, we look at him and go, well, he was fine the entire season. He was the one we should have gone for. It won't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's such a good player, Scotty Sorensen.